Right. I guess we are ready to go now. Believe all can see me and all can hear me. Welcome all. Good morning and good afternoon for all the participants who have joined from all across the globe and who are watching this today's webinar based on Splint Studio on 3Shape Dental Desktop. Welcome you all. So whatever you are seeing on the screen today is like question and answers chats, and if you want to ask anything, do use the question and answers. If you want to tell me something, you can like use the chat in case if I ask anything, but please use the question and answer column to get back and so I'll be trying to answering you all the questions whatever there. In case if I miss anything, I'll try to give you again in a reply in person. All right, now we are going to start. So all I'm going to do today is right now I'm going to show you something from the big 3-4 slides from the PDF, and then I'm going straight away take you to the software division. So there, all I'm going to do is explain you how you can scan from the lab scanner and activate, or if you want to use it from the dental desktop, how you can use it. So yes, all that can be used. So just give me a minute and I'll just do something and choose virtual background. I'll just click on that. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so if I wanted to show you something, I can be able to show you. That's great. Okay. All right. Great. So we are going to start now. So who am I? I am Ankish Pakle, application specialist for 3Shape, working in 3Shape as a training and application specialist. And definitely, I have a plenty of experience into this all CAD/CAM division, like from past 14 years. I have worked one of the bigger lab in Mumbai, India, working as a head of CAD/CAM department. And of course, over there, I used to do the conventional technique dentistry and CAD/CAM dentistry as well. So yes, I know a few other software as well, like Dental Wings, ExoCAD, and from CAM division. Of course, from some machines from the printing aspect, like Envision Tech, Formlabs, and definitely a metal sintering machine, that is US electro-optical systems from Germany. So I have experience in that. And right now I'm working as a 3Shape application specialist. So currently I'm looking after dental systems, implant studio, Trios, and its add-on modules like Design Studio and all other add-on modules. So what we are going to see today is what is Splint. I've just a small brief about what are splints exactly, and a general info about the splints, what are the splints as, and yes, module activation, how you can check your dongle inside, what the modules are inbuilt, and if you want to check how you can check whether you have a 3DD in your dongle, 3DD Splint designer in your 3DD, and then you can just check. And definitely we are going to check, we are going to see a demo case onto the software live case, question answer series if there is any question or answers, and then we have a survey link which I'll be posting into the chats, which I would like if you can just fill it up. It would take somewhere around 8 to 10 minutes for you to fill up, and then so it will be easier for us to improve from our end and do the needful. All right. So what are splints? What is splint exactly? So if I'm going to tell you what is splint exactly. So great. So dental splints are also called as occlusal splints, including bite plates and mouth guards. Definitely, those are like when we have some mouth guards or something, those also comes into dental splints. They are custom made by a dentist or lab. So it's like, as we are doing, is like absolutely a custom made. Dental splints can help ease muscle tension and stabilizes the jaw. They do this by preventing grinding and clenching of the jaw, that is bruxism, that might be causing muscle tensions and pain. So if a patient is having some bruxism or grinding or clenching of these things, definitely dentist can suggest for these dental splints. On an average, a person, I mean, if you ask for a lifetime or so it can be somewhere around 4 weeks to 6 weeks approximately. And yes, that can be used. So here, how you can check whether you have this dental splint designer is activated in your dongle or not. So if you are having a lab software and you have premium or complete restorative of 2019, then definitely it will be completely add on to your dongle. It is free of charge. You're not going to pay anything into it. Okay, I believe you can see my complete screen. Are you guys can see my complete screen? I guess because yes. So Royce, I guess you need to see something from your end because the rest of the persons can see my screen completely, my PDF. So I guess you should be able to see my screen. All right. So here, if you see on the screen, I have just, but anyways, I will be sharing on to the software as well. So I can tell you how you can check it onto your software, this module. So if you're having dental systems 2019 or above version, of course, 2019 is only released for the all the end users. 2020 is going to be released around May 2020. So of course, if you have premium or complete restorative, then definitely you can use it. All right. Now, there are just two people who can't see my screen, Edit and one more person, but definitely others can see. But definitely, I would like ask you to like do something from your end so you can see the screen. But my screen is very much visible to rest of the people, so I can't do any setting changes from my end. Anyways. So you have this module installed in your, it will get automatically installed in your dental system when you are installing dental system. So after completion of dental system, this will be a part of it. It will be a mandatory step to install 3Shape dental desktop where your splint will be installed. And definitely you can check it in your dongle. How does it look alike? Now, if you want to know how you can check, so just you can go to just your system control panel, subscription management, and you can just check whether you have it or not. If you don't see it, you can always ask to your reseller support and ask them why it's not been visible. But yes, I'm continuously saying that it's available from 2019 and above versions. It will be free of cost for premium and complete restorative. And definitely you can check into your dental manager. So all these steps what you can see on the screen are exactly the same way you can check. So you just need to assure whether you have 2019 and disciplines design 3D available. So I'll just share you my other further desktop now for the complete. I'll just share you my complete screen share. And now you should be able to see the control panel. Great. All right, so what you can see is a control panel from the dental system software division. Over here, you can see the Splint design 3D is activated in my dongle. That means, yes, it is very much available into my dongle. So this is the one way you can check. Or if you just have the dental desktop, you can anyways go inside more. You can check for subscription management and then you can just look for splints. So here I can just look for the splint. Yep. So here you can just look for this and these are available on my system. So I can do it very much from my dental desktop division as well. Now, other question comes, how you can scan for this? So if you have 19.3, you can directly start scanning over here. You can just go into the patients and you can just fill up a form and just start your designing over here, fill up. But before that, you can just check whether you have your Scanit also installed over here. It will get normally installed by default when you're installing 2019. And you can just check whether you have you have set it yourself as dentist or lab technician. So you can just go to general, you can go to users, and then you can just check for over here, the settings, dentist or a dental lab over here. So if you have a dental lab, you can just very much set it as a dental lab. And on top, you will get an icon like a dental lab scanner. So just to show you, I'll just click here, dental lab. I'll go back to patients. Yes. Although I'm not going to scan anything, but just wanted to show you how does it look like. I'll just click on new case, simply the same formula. I'll just fill up the patient name and I'll just start it as, I'm just going to say as in-house. Over here, I'll just select teeth, and then appliance as Splint. I can select a material, I'm going to select the generic, and all I'm going to select a machine as STL export, because I need a STL export for that. And very much you can see over here now, very much you can see as scanning dental over here. Also, you can see over here as object type. So you can just select object type model and antagonist model to scan. And then you can just simply click and you can directly go ahead and scan it. So this is how you can just check the settings in your system, whether you have set it as a dental lab or a clinic. But anyways, even if you're a clinic, you can immediately scan it over here, what you can see on the screen. All I'm going to do right now is again go back and change my settings a bit. I'll tell you how you can start the scanning from the dental system as well, and how you are going to do that. So here I'll just go back and just root back to my settings. I am a dentist. Okay, with the last patients. Okay, very much to say yes. Let's check. I'll just close this control panel, and then I will go to my front screen of the dental desktop. Okay. Do ask me the questions if you have any. Just type in Q&A, and I should be able to answer them. So here, let's assume we are filling up a form over here, and over here I would just go to modify. I'm about to fill up a form. So this is just a previously filled form. I would just select a single tooth, any tooth, and then I would just select here as appliance, directly appliance. So here I have this first option as, so I'll just select something. Doesn't matter whether this portfolio material is get selected, because end result is like STL. So we have a provision into dental desktop that we can actually select whether we wanted to do this case with which machine. So 3Shape has incorporated plenty of printers and milling machines. You can just choose one of them. Since the settings are by default incorporated into it, so you can just go ahead and select your machine. But anyways, if you don't find your machine or printer, no problem. If you are well versed with your all the system parameters, all you need to change is just the fitting things, what you're going to do. So here I'm just going to do this here. If I would be selecting a model or something, and then I would just click either scan. So if I select its model, I would get an option over here, scan. Since this is a previous case, I will get that option. All I'm going to do here is import, which I have already done the import scans, and then I will simply get this option of Splint Studio, which will directly connect me to the Splint Studio at my end. So it will directly connect me to 3Shape Dental Desktop automatically. And just to assure whether your system is connected to 3Shape Dental Desktop by default or not, again, you can go to control panel, just check for the settings, what settings are there. And if it's not rooted, so I'll just go to general. So this part, what I'm explaining right now, is from the laboratory aspect, not in general. I'm sorry, maybe in system settings. All right. So here you can just check Splint Studio path, set Splint Studio path. So dental desktop, whomsoever, if you can just check whether if it's not connected directly, you can just go onto the other division and you can just check. So here set Splint Studio part, and you can directly show as 3Shape Dental Desktop. So here, if I try to show you the Splint Studio path. Come on. Okay, here it is. C program files 3Shape Dental Desktop. This path you can directly select, and this will get connected to your dental desktop. If it's not connected to your dental desktop, you can very much do that. So 19.1 and 19.2 people, whomsoever is this version, they can actually do this way as well. Now let's go to our dental desktop version directly and start designing the thing. So this is how you can just see how you can incorporate a dental desktop into your dental system version as well. Now I'm going to take you directly to the system over here for the splints. So here all I'm going to do is create a new case, simply creating a new case. here I would just, so I have a patient, I'm going to incorporate in that itself. I'm going to click on new case. I would just select product add splints over here. I'm going to select in-house because over here I myself going to design, and then I would just select tooth and then appliance. So in appliance we have option of splint, selection of splint. So we will have only this option splint, and then material of course I would select generic because I need to get the still from it. Depends on the machines what you have installed as a cam. If it's like you have some cams directly incorporated with your dental desktop, then you might get those options as well. Here I'm just going to select as generic. So I've selected that. Now over here on the right side, you can check it's a splint, 1 it to 2 it, and then I can directly start scanning as I showed you before as well, or I can just import the model. So here I'm going to import. I'm going to import upper jaw, upper, then I'm going to import lower. So I'll just select lower. Okay. So once I select this, I will get an option of splint design directly now because my scanning is completed. My model's import has been done, and I'm going to do the scanning now. All right. So it will take me to my design page directly now. Great. So now here, what you can see on the screen, I have to define the occlusal plane settings over here. So when I'm designing these occlusal plane settings, all I'm going to do is, so here you can just, as I told you before, you have the choice of selection of different machines and the materials. So here you can just check what things you are having over here. So you have different printers and machines as well. So you can select the one what you want, and it will give you exact output. But anyways, if your particular things are not there incorporated, still that is okay. You can select one of the either printer or how you are going to take. You can select one, and then you can just change the offset settings, which you just have to see whether you want tight or loose. That's all you wanted to do. You have to do. So here I'm going to set custom. Let's take a look onto the icons over here present. So the scissor icon which is over here is like which area we don't want, and we can just simply delete. So we can just print and we can just delete those areas. So all I don't want is this area. I can just print it, and it would get deleted automatically. So here we can just give make a model bit presentable than what we have received it from the dentist aspect, dentist side or the lab side. But yes, from the, if you're scanning from the lab side, in the scanner division itself, you will get an option after defining the cut area. It will ask you whether you want to block out the base and you want to create a great completely closed based or open based. So it gives you a better vision from if you are doing it from the scanner, a lab scanner. Now, over here. So now all I'm going to see is follow up these points what the system has suggested. Just do as directed. Click on the mesolingual cusp on the tooth number 16. So all I'm going to do, click on there, and then click where the mesial and incisal edges meet on the incisors. So approximately over here, and again onto the 26. So here system has defined one occlusal plane, which we know that this is going to be occlusal plane for my upper and lower exactly in between. But now here, if I want to make some modifications and just take it a little bit so that my other cusp can feel a bit of touch, can just do that. And here I have defined. All right, so I have defined it in this way. Once I'm done over here, I can go next. Okay, now here, all you can see it on the screen is my models are actually articulated onto the articulator. If you feel like you want to change any settings into it, yes, you can do that. So we have to see here, it should be generally exactly categorized as per the settings for the articulator. So it should be approximately near to the occlusal plane and the incisal pin, it should match with. But yes, if you want to make any changes, you can do that, and you can just try to make those changes over here. So here you can just stick front, back, whatever you want to do, you can just do that. Adjust, it should fit, it should be exactly approximately fit into the articulator side. But now here, if you see on the left side, byte configuration, there are plenty of other configuration settings, which we will be using mix match combination, and then we will like use it, how you can just adjust it for upper and lower. You might hear some sounds of the little kids are present over here just behind me, since working from home. So small kids are playing around and trying to keep them somewhere aside, make them sit in the room, but unfortunately they don't listen. Anyways, so here, over here, what I'm going to do is, here you can see the option open to splint thickness. So here, when you are clicking on open to splint thickness, you will define how much the thickness you want to open of your articulator. So when you are doing this, that means when you are scanning, the scan was done exactly into the occlusion. But there is other way of scanning as well. So your dentist can put some byte ramps inside while scanning. So dentist has done the upper, then the lower, and while taking the bite, they might put some byte ramps inside upper and lower, and then they can scan it. So byte will come exactly raised how much they want. Then we don't need to use this articulator function over here. Since it is not done, so we are going to use the articulator function and we will raise the byte. Why we are raising the byte? Because we need some space so that we can fabricate a splint or at this level. So here, all I'm going to mention is this thickness. What I want just mention it's 2 mm, because I want a thickness of my splint is also around 2 mm. Just let's take a look over here. All right, so all I'm going to do here is to raise, and here the system has raised it. So here, wherever you consider the minimum thickness, somewhere will be at least 2 mm or more. So if I try to take a small 2D cross section over here, let's take a 2D cross section and measure it. How does it going to show me? I'll just take a 2D cross section. Okay, now here, if I try to measure the distance, it's somewhere around as what we have selected. So this is exactly what it. But what happens when we are doing this? There might be some more gap present into the interior. So we have to take care when we are designing in future, that is into further steps. We have to assure that we need to give some bit more of the area of thickness when we are designing the splint. So here my 2 mm is at least available, and then I should not forget to log these areas or log this over here. So all I'm going to do is log this. So when I'm increasing 2 mm approximately, so actually the incisal guide, incisal pin has opened around 8.7, what you can see on the screen. So all I'm going to do is close over here. Okay, so this is what has got opened when I have opened it. So it is around 8.7 mm has got opened. So all I'm going to do is lock right now over here, because it is necessary to lock the position what you're going to set. It is also important that it should get locked. If you don't lock and if you go ahead, this will not get saved, and you will get again the previous algorithm of the models what you have imported or what you have scanned. So I have locked it, but before locking it, if you want to make any changes or anything, so all I'm going to unlock. If you want to make any changes before doing all these things, so I'll just make it undo all, and all I'm going to do here is 0. If you feel like you want to increase it bit by manual, you can anyway. So you can just select the model first, and then you can increase. So you just click on any of the model present, just single click, and then you can use this blue dot to raise. So 0.5 to 1 mm should be good enough to increase, and then you can just decide how much you want to do. So now here, if I just increase it 1.7, so now it will be evenly increased to everywhere. So earlier it was increased 2 mm from the posterior, but it would have increased more from the incisal aspect. But here, right now, what I have just done is a bit increase from, you can say, manually by the complete module, and then I have increased. So now here you can see the opening is somewhere around 6 mm Earlier it was 7.8 mm. Now opening is somewhere around 6 mm. I'm going to lock this and then I'm going to go ahead. So since I have locked, then I'm going to go ahead. All right. So till this goes ahead, I will just check for the questions. So Turik has said I have been told two methods by two trainers. One told me to use open to splint thickness and the other told me to read opening at pin and then set at the articulator setting before locking. Does it make a difference? So here, why you're opening? So all you have to take, is so I believe it's one in the same. Either you can just put uh, how much the thickness you want, and then you can see how much the bite has raised over there, because you have to think in a way that you need to have particular thickness. It will be depend on your material settings as well, because when you're using some particular materials, you need to define particular settings for your splint. So at that time, I would prefer to use the first option, that is over here. So over here, so when I'm doing it at this level, so I would prefer this by using this splint thickness. So it will open the bite and it would give exactly. I would not prefer opening over here, because the difference over here is when I'm trying to open it. So it will like try to open the bite, but I would prefer to use it by the thickness, because here the thickness might get vary. And so I would prefer to open the upper and lower by defining the splint thickness. But of course, it can be a user choice as well. Depends what materials and what machines you are using. So other question has also come. What is the difference between opening the bite manual and opening through software? Okay, so when you're opening the bite, so Dr. Smriti has asked what is the difference between opening the bite manual and opening through software. So over here, when you're opening manually, you don't have a control to open it, because you might make some more changes. But when you're opening it through the articulator, like from the software, it will give you the restricted movements or control movements. I would say control movements, when you can check over there and you will be able to know exactly what are the things you are trying to open, and the movements are controlled over there. So I will just make it undo. I want to go back to the previous settings. 1.7 raised, yes. So here, by playing this, you will know exactly what movements are going to be happen when you're raising that much of bite. Okay, so I will just go back one step. Yes, this is done. I will just unlock it and try to set it by default. Guided by just give me a minute. I'm just setting my things again back to reset. So everything is resetted now, and I'm just going to do it by raise around 0.5 and then maybe around 1.7, raise and then lock. This is done. Now I'm going to go to next. All right, so here, now here the system is asking us for the blockout. So this is the same step if any of you have the experience when we are doing it for the cast partials or the removables. So there we block out or survey the things and make a little bit of undercuts open for the class so that we can get the retentions. Now here the same thing, the system has defined one of the undercut or path of insertions defined, and over here you can just see it on the screen. Okay, so here the system has defined it. If you want, you can change it, or you can just check what system has defined. But if you want to change this path of insertion, so you just have to see how much of the area can come in contact, what splint we are going to fabricate, that area should come in contact with our model. And here we can define whether you want to tight fit or loose fit. But before that, I would just define one of the area. If you're not happy with the system defined, then I can just click on from view, and then I would just click over here, and then system will try to block out the areas which falls into the undercut. Okay, now here. So it is just calculating wax up model steps. So it is done. So you can see now which areas have been blocked out. And now here, if I just move my mouse like this, I would get to know what are the undercuts or how much are the areas are coming into the undercut. So here you can see just a blue area is like giving you exactly the smallest area or where the contour is. And below to that pink area is exactly the wax region which has gone blocked out. So now here, just if I try to tell you, so remove undercuts, that's why the system has removed the undercuts, blocking out the angle. So the system has blocked out whatever is falling down more than 0 degrees. So whatever the by default settings, I would prefer to keep it over here, and retention. Now, all I'm going to do is just make some small changes. I just go here 0.1 and just observe what happens to these blue areas now. Just keep your eye on to blue and just see what happens to blue areas. So it is trying to give a bit of more of the retention. So if you are material, what you are using is like a rigid or something, then you can keep it as around, it decrease the value. But if you're using some flexible materials, I mean, material, whatever you're going to use might be flexible, you can increase the value a bit so that you can get a good grip from it. So here, so I would keep it 0.1. So you must have observed what has happened. So here the blue area has like increased a bit from the this pink or pink color. And now I would just go to next. Here now we have few options. Again, if you feel like you want to even more increase a bit of undercut, you can go to remove. You can just create the shallow kind of thing. So all I'm doing over here is removing these undercuts. So if you feel like my splint or whatever prosthesis I'm going to make or fabricate is going to fit exactly inside and merge over my model and get a good grip, my material can go mill exactly, then I can use this option. Else we have anyways created a good retention for by giving 0.1 mm thickness. So I would leave it as it is. But yes, we have this option as well. So it will be user defined settings, what user would like to do, and they can define. The other thing I would like to do here is I would just check what are the areas that might give the problem while fitting my prosthesis onto the model. So there are some sharp areas which are too sharp or which are too, you can say, too deep inside. So while this process is getting made, at that time, if I'm going to make and these areas get milled or printed, these might give a problem for my fabrication. In that case, I would just block them out. So here, all I'm going to do is using the block out wax over here. All I'm doing is just blocking out the undercuts and and then just trying to give some more areas, whatever are there, and the interproximal areas as well. So If you want, you can just increase the thickness of this. And same way, I will just do it for the interproximal areas, whatever there. I feel like these should not create, these might create the issues for fitting. And then this is how I can do that. And the small areas. Of course, I'm not going to block all those, but just wanted to let you know, this is how you can do. And last thing, some of the people would like to do here is the block out the sensitive area in case if any of these incisor papillas and everything are sensitive from the patient side, and if any of the part of the process are going to follow on these areas, then definitely we can just use this and just make a bit of it. So you can just, and also we can just block out these rogue areas, so not the sensitive area will be directly in contact with the splint. So we are just giving a bit of leeway space for the things to fit exactly, and it is not giving any much of the pressures top of it. So this is what I'm doing exactly, is I'm just putting some wax inside and just give a relief zones. Okay, now here, these are the settings. Here you can just check that these are the again settings what we have pretty much similar what we have set it into the previous aspect. Splint thickness, how much you want to keep. So here the splint thickness, what the software, we want a software to design. So whenever we are going ahead, the software would design somewhere around 1.5 approximately. So that things we are going to put over here. So 1.8 approximately, let's assume I have put 1.8 and minimum thickness. So at few places, when we are making some movements for the articulator at that level, in case if some of the areas get like removed from the splint, still we want to keep some minimum areas, minimum thickness, because our milling machines or the printers need to print or mill it. So in that case, we need to have some minimum thickness, just like our crown and bridges or any other things. Same way here as well. So we need to have some minimum thickness. So we can define it over here. If anything is going below to that thickness, system will give us the warning and it will ask whether you want to correct it or you want to leave it as it is, and then we can take a call. So here this value is important, and offset from teeth for the split. So what is this exactly? So this is what a gap in between the design and the model. So here my fitting will be should be considered. That's why I told you in earlier stage, if your name is not into the list of materials or machines, all you need to play with these settings. So here you can just try and achieve your settings by increasing or decreasing these settings. So here, if I try to give a little less, so this is approximately 10 microns. So 10 microns will be the gap from design and the model. Yeah, I may increase it. So it should be like, come exactly as what I want to define it. But if you select a particular machine, these values will come by default because those will be tried and tested. And of course, these, if you want, right now, whatever first three settings, what I have done here can be considered as for the printing. If you want to convert this into the milling, you can very much put here the diameter of the burr. So if you wish, if you want to go ahead and mill this splint, welcome, no problem. So all you need to put here is as a drill diameter. So most of the machines, if I'm not mistaken, and as per my experience, so maybe you can just use somewhere around in between 1 to 1.2 mm burr, which goes inside of the prosthesis and mill. So approximately 1 to 1.2 mm you can keep as a diameter, and it will create that much of the you can say precaution for that particular area. If there are some sharp edges present, it will just make it a little bit of round off, and my 1.2 mm burr can easily go and mill those areas. Yeah. So this is for that. What I'm going to do here is it is going to go for the printing. Okay, no problem. And then I would just simply go to next. Okay, please complete the step by setting a closed outline. Okay. Here I have forgot one more thing, one good thing. I have not drawn the splint outline. So these settings I have done, but I have to of course to draw a splint outline. So here what you can see over here is this pink color. Of course, I would not like to go below to that because I already have set it some areas. So all I'm going to do is like draw. So you have again those options. So you can either draw continuously like the way I'm doing, or you can give the point base. I'm just going to draw a quick one over here for my splints. Again, these settings or this drawing can be customized as per the user way, how the user wants. Here, I'm going to do, so I'll show you how I'm going to do here. I'm going to just try to define it in this way. And over here, I'm just going to take a bit bigger size than what I have selected at the other end. So here again, as I was trying to explain you before, it will be user defined settings or the dentist requirements. How much do they want exactly to keep in around maybe 2 mm below to the cervical line or something. And if they blink to cover these areas as well. So if they want to cover up these areas, they can take into consideration or into the drawing for these areas, or we can just draw it onto over here, or we can even draw it onto the tooth surface as well. I mean, it can be as per however you want. There are nothing is like only this way you have to draw or only that way you have to draw. It can be user defined. But it is like this tool, fast edit line is very good, which allows us to make any changes. So we can just draw it quickly, very rough, and then we can just make change whatever we want. So I just quickly take a look. I'll just see if everything is fine and maybe within undercuts. So my splint can be fit exactly pretty much fine. And then I'll go next. Okay. So here now you can see there are three things onto the screen. One is raised to antagonist cusp tips. So that means let's take a look one by one what happens exactly. So here I have to draw or paint the area what I want to do exactly. So there can be you defined how you want to exactly. So I'm going to show you what happens exactly. Okay, so I've defined this, and now what on next or before clicking next as well, my system will show me a wireframe and how it is getting raised. So here it has gone up to the cusp tips of the opposite model. So here that has gone up to the cusp tips. So just to show you in a bit proper way, I'll try to show you over here. But here, of course, we can mix match and use the combinations, what exactly we want to use. I'm just trying to show you how all these three plays the function. So here you can see all the raised cusp, my splint design has raised up to the opposite model's cusp. Over here, they have raised up to the opposite model cusp. So irrespective wherever my opposite model would be, it will try and increase that much area. Again, I'll go back. I would just deactivate this. I will select the next one, raise to antagonist plane. So hope you know that we have set it one plane, one of the plane, and up to that, my ramp will get raised. So how it will happen? Let's take a look. So here again, I'm going to paint it in this way. And now let's see. How does it get raised? So if you see, my lower model is here, but this has got increased. And here, if I want some more height, I can just adjust my occlusal plane, and so does the system. My system will adjust the design accordingly. So here you can see this has done automatically, and this will be exactly flat. This wouldn't have any annotations over there right now, or no slopes. this will be flat as per my plane, occlusal plane over there. So here, just deactivate my opposite, and you can see it is like very much flat as per the occlusal plane. And the third option, again, I'll go back. These are the three things which are important, where we can spend a little time and understand what these things are exactly. And the third thing is here, all I'm going to do is I'll just paint it, and once I paint it, it will raise into some particular ramp angle. So let's take a look like this. You will see a particular slope like this from the aspect. So this can be used into anterior levels because we need to get some more ramps onto the anterior division. So here you can see, or I'll just take you next, and you would be able to see a proper ramp of that 15 degrees. You can change it as per the way you want. So maybe 15, you can turn to 20, 25 degrees, and you can achieve that particular ramp. Yeah, so you can very much see over here, this ramp has achieved. So as I told you before, we can do these mix match settings. So into the anteriors, I can do maybe a ramp that is a green color one, what you can see over here. And maybe into the posteriors, I would use to this blue color that is raised to enter one discuss tips. So how we can do that? So I'll just go to the first level. I'm just going to mark it. So my splint preview is calculating. Okay. Although I have not done anything, when it's connected to the mate settings, it acts a little bit slower, but luckily nothing has happened. Okay, till this happens, I'll just try to take a look to the chats and the question and answers as well. First, I have set a material in configuration, but I can choose a splint model. I can only choose the 3Shape material. So Nemrut Alkan, you said first I have set a material in configuration, but I can choose in splint mode. I can only choose the 3Shape material. It's not 3Shape material. It's like what machines and materials that have been configured along with your system. So that is what the system has allowed. So 3Shape has already done some R&Ds with like material testings and all the machines. So once they come up, so all they have come up with those settings as I showed you before. So those settings would play important role when you're choosing your output format. So it will be exactly as per your maybe printer or machine what you're going to use. So those settings are defined, but it is not really, to be very honest, if I'm expert into a CAM, I can still manage without selecting the machines as well. So here, all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to select one area and then I would just paint it. Okay, so I want to paint the posterior region as well, which has not come. I will just redraw it again once again. I've just cancelled it. Yes, this is how I can draw it onto one side and same thing onto the other side as well. So here, these two things, what I have designed over here is exactly, it is up to raise up to my opposite cusp tips. And then I can select this raise ramp for the anterior division and where I can give one particular angulation. So here I'm going to select this region and then I would just select it for the anterior division. Come on. Yes. So now you can see anterior division, I have a green in color, and posteriors, I have blue in color. You can define it as per, you can see these colors as well over here on top. So what exactly you have chosen, the simultaneously you can get those options here. I believe must be plenty of you people must have started using the Splint Studio, and you must have come across with your different thoughts and everything. But definitely, we are improving all these, still improving all the settings and other things into this Splint. Anyways, this is, I feel like this is a much more onto a top version right now, but there are still some improvements going on, and we would like to take your initiatives as well for that. And that's why I'm going to share you one of the survey link, which I want, or 3Shape wants you to fill it up. So we will exactly know what exactly your expectations are, and simultaneously we can work accordingly. And if required, we can do those changes into the software. So here I have done it. I would just quickly go to next to see exactly what changes are being done. Now, over here, I should be able to see my model and the design on top. Okay. So you can see now there's a junction. You can very much see over here the junction. The first what we had selected was over here, and then the junction form. And into the anterior region we have a ramp. And if I try to see now over here whether it is touching or not. So let's assume, now let's take a look, and we will just go ahead and do what exactly we wanted to do. Now let's take a look what we are trying to achieve. Here, there are a few things into the articulator settings. Let's see what are these files. Now here, I would just deactivate lateral protrusion and reprotrusion. So I'm just going to deactivate this and just see what happens. Over here, I'm going to do it by guided by incisor table right now. And now all I'm going to do is click. So what is happening over here is system is trying to get exactly where the points are there. And if they are touching, it will give me all those points. Here, you can see a very few points which are connected, very minor few points. But let's do one thing. I would just go back and change it to a bit of a higher division, which would be easier for me to make you understand how does it happens. Okay. So here, all right, okay, let's take a look. I'm sorry for that. Once you can see these spots which are there might get cut when I apply these settings. But before that, if you feel like you don't want any cut to be happen in those particular areas, you can use this disable the areas selection mode. So I can just simply paint those areas, and whatever changes are being taken place will not affect over here. So if any high points comes, these area will not get cutted. So now I would just activate this lock unlock motion analog axis, and then let's take a play role over here. What is happening? So I'll just activate the opposite model and take a look. So here you can see the difference. Only the lateral medial protrusion are in place. It is not activated reprotrusion over here. So it is not taking place. And then if I want to apply this, I can just simply click on over here, adapt designs, and it will get reduced onto those regions wherever the high points are. So it is very much reduced. But now if I want to have everything to be in place, and then I would just use the play button of the articulator. Now all the motions from sidewise and anterior posterior, all those motions will happen. So now you can see what is happening over here. Okay. And then if there are any high points, so you can just check these are the high points present over here, which can get removed over here. But here again, For few people, if they want to understand exactly what are changes being taken place, all I can do here is I can just go back, increase my byte ramp, just to show if I use the middle portion, and just make some changes. I just undo to all, and I would use the middle one, the base 20. Deactivate this, and then some of the areas have not been selected, which would get selected now as well. And then all I'm going to do is I will activate the lower one, and I will assure that this is exactly interfering with the opposite. I'm just take a bit of a trick. Yes. Hope you're understanding what I'm doing exactly. I have just selected the second, like raised 20 is in. I've increased the plane a bit. So to show you exactly what integrations happened when I go next. And now I can see it in a preview with the opposite. Just deactivate these both. And I will try to play it with my guided by incisor plane. Okay. So if I play over here, just see. I need to stop it. I have not. I will just simply stop it. I want to explain you in detail how all these functions come across. Okay. Stop this, and now play. So see, now what is happening over here exactly is my upper and lower is only going inside. So I have stopped these lateral-medial movements and re-protrusion movements. So only these movements are happening. And this is why I have selected here as a incisal table. So only as what motions happen into the articulator, same motions are happening. If I want to apply these, then definitely I can just use this, and you can see the change what has happened. So here, these areas only will get deleted, but this is not something what we want, because the patient will like move his jaw, so it will get obstructed. So in that case, let's take a look what happens when we are selecting lateral-medial occlusion. So here, when we are taking it, I would just select these motions, and then now I would just play. Sorry, I'm sorry. Let's play. I have to do this. Sometimes get confused in between the play and apply. Okay, so here. Now you can see the side movements are also happening. Lateral-medial occlusion movements. And so does it has removed the areas which where it is like taking place. And if I deactivate, unlock this as well, re-protrusion, and now play. Now it will have all those actions along with anterior and posterior as well. Now he will go up and down. Now re-protrusion will take place. So you can see onto the left side what motions are happening. And if there are any high points are coming inside in between, then you can just apply to those. As I told you before, if you don't want to remove any of the area over here, then you can just use this button, and then you can just get rid of that area, so it will be remain intact. So now, so this is my one of the splint has been fabricated approximately, and now if I want to make some areas to be smoothed out or something, then I have these options of smooth. So here I'll just use the smooth tab. I'll try to make a bit of smooth. So just to give normal surface areas, smooth and everything. So I can just do that. I would like to reduce a bit of somewhere area so that I want to show you if there's a minimum thickness, how the system replicates that. So I'll just try to remove some areas. And then it will give me greater. So somewhat happens, and immediately you can see the notification happens that the design is 0.15 mm thinner than the recommended 1 mm material thickness. So it is like not good enough. And if I want to check it into my 2D cross section, I can just check it over here by checking into the 2D cross section. So you can very much see here it is crossing my minimum thickness. So I can accept it or I can correct it. I would prefer to make it correct. So system will automatically add the material over there and we can simply go ahead. So by making some changes to these planes by using the wax knife tool, you can make it a bit smooth and then you can go next. Here when I'm going next, my system has given me a STL output of this what we have created. So here if I just click on open folder, and I have got this immediately product or output what I have created. So this is a STL which is ready now to go ahead and print, since I have not applied any milling diameters. So definitely I have chosen it for printing and I can go ahead. So here the thickness what you can see over here, if you feel like this is too much, as I told you before, we can use the wax knife tools and we can just make this a little bit lesser. But you can easily identify the difference in between the one which I have used as going interdental and this I have selected as the surface area or the palette portion where he has given us a more of the thick areas. But yes, we can just cross check out everything. If this is good enough, then we can go ahead and do the needful. Now that's all from this software. So now I'll just go and check the questions. If there are the questions, I'll just try to see what are there. So if you record with jig at open vertical in mouth, is the open to splint minimum thickness left at 0 mm? So Gordon, you have asked, so if you record with jig at open vertical in mouth, yes, I would keep it as 0 because our opening is already been done inside the mouth. So we don't need to open it over here because we already have got those openings over there. It's very important to block out the papilla inside. Yes, it's actually important if those areas are sensitive or yeah, Thomas, that's you said it correct, that it's important that to block out the incisor papilla because those might be a sensitive regions over there and might affect to the patient, might cause some severities. Yes. Dr. Smriti Bhagavaza, is the bite raised with this? We have used, I mean, you can raise the bite. So when we are using the second raise to occlusal plane over there, you can raise the bite as per the way you want. So if you select your occlusal plane as what height you want, you can definitely raise your thickness or the splint. So Namrud Alkan. First, I have set a material in configuration, but I can choose in splint mode. I can only choose 3Shape material. Second, we set a construction DSCAM version 3. Where can I set to save the construction file in our network folder? Okay, Namrud, I feel like this question could be asked to might be a support since this is like includes some CAM divisions and everything. So I would prefer this can be a support for the question to the support. So I guess support can answer it in a better way. So Dr. Smriti has asked, what does this bar icon means? Which bar icon exactly you're talking, Dr. Smriti? So I can like tell you exactly what bar icon exactly you're talking. How to choose the printer from 3Shape? No, you're not choosing a printer over here because here you are selecting the material, so you are getting the STL output exactly as per your printer settings, and then you can like just take that output and put inside your printer. But if it's like your printer like Formlabs or something, Formlabs kind which is like integrated, you can directly choose the Formlabs again, this you can ask, this can be a question to the support, but definitely you can integrate if you need to have the cam for that. Thomas, super present. Thank you, Thomas. Thanks a lot for your comments. Okay, are there any more questions? The articulator settings trainer suggested that I didn't set at a pin, the rest design wouldn't guide properly. So Kit, you have the same, I guess it's in continue. The articulator settings trainer suggested that if I didn't set at pin, the rest of the design wouldn't guide properly. You need to set the pin as per the thickness. So I guess you can set the thickness and then pin will be guiding you automatically. But if you're setting those pins, you must have seen our design. Into our design, we have two options. So if I just show you into the design, we have two options. So I'll just quickly go to the final step. One is guide by incisal pin and other is guide by design. So if you are make your designs as per this. So here you can see guide by incisal table and guide by design. So if you select guide by design, then definitely incisal pin will be upper and you will not get those uh, retention things what are there. But definitely if it's like guide by incisal pin, then whatever pin you have set it up to will play in place. I don't know, am I explanatory, that much explanatory to you or not? But before I go to next questions, I would like to put those links for you people, so that please, I would request you guys to please fill up those links. And so it will be easier for us for the survey. And if there are any implementations that we need to make from this software, definitely 3Shape is working to it. So you can just see the links in your chat. You can just copy and paste into your browser and just fill it up. It would not take more than 8 to 10 minutes. I'll just go ahead and complete the presents. Arjun Verma, how would you design occlusal points contacts on each posterior tooth in ICP with splint in mouth? For example, when fabricating a Michigan splint with canine ramp, etc. Arjun, I feel like this question is like something maybe I could have answered it while designing. So if you want to, what I understand is you want to design some high points, design occlusal points where you wanted to have exactly. So here, when we are coming to this division, if I'm understanding you correctly, we have this option of adding the material. So here we can just add some materials at this level, and for the canines as well. And then we can just pay only for that particular region. So stop this. So only those areas which are comes in contact with the canines would get removed. But maybe Dr. Arjun, I can get back to you in person and understand what exactly you mean, and I can try to answer your question later as well. Bactris, I'm sorry, I'm not able to pronounce your name, Bitrise. Sometimes after printing the splint, it is like it was built in another byte position. I always do some procedure. What I'm doing wrong? Thank you. Another byte position, it should not happen really. I mean, you are feeling like whatever design you have made and you are printing some other design is what exactly I mean, you are getting the other position, what designs you have made and you are getting the other positions. No, it should not be like that. But maybe we can see a couple of cases what exactly you have designed. Maybe, I don't know, after designing, I mean, after playing these motions, I don't know whether you're applying it or not. If you don't apply this button at that design, it will not be taking place. So if you're like playing any lateral medial protrusion or knee protrusion, after that you after playing it, you need to apply it. Once you apply it, you should not change your design, or it should give you exact things. Or you can check with your multi printing company as well. or if it's happening only with the splints, then we can check it from the software division. But if it's like happening with other things, you can check with your printer company, but maybe we can just come in touch with in person and then check what exactly could have been wrong. Okay. So you're saying before I mix splint and print with Asiga and next in both, but quality is not good. After 3 days, patient is using the splint and it's broken. So it is something like I cannot tell you from something from the software division, Arup, because if that splint is using after 3 days and if it's broken, you need to check out from the printer. But I feel like Asiga is a good company. But yes, you can just check with the companies as well. Yes, it is in place. So Golden Bird has asked, any plans to bring the specific motion? Yes, there are the plans to bring the specific motion, as well as many of the people is asking even for Facebook as well. So both are in progress, but as I'm requesting, kindly fill up the links, and we might, the production team might come up into a faster action for that. Okay, so few people are saying you cannot copy these links. Okay, I'm sorry. I feel like I have just copied to all only to the panelists. I would just put these to all attendees as well. I'm sorry for that. Yes, I have put it into a chat. Okay. Okay. Is there any, British has asked me one question. Is there any way to place a bar in between first molar in order to support the splint while printing? All right. So I don't see any possibilities from the software division. I know you must be asking it for the stabilization of the splint during the printing, so that it should not get warp or anything, but nothing from this, but maybe few of the printers who allow you to place in bars. So you can check out with the cam, but I don't see any possibility for during this design. No, I'm sorry. I don't think so. We can do it over here. Okay, I feel like I have answered plenty of the questions, and it's like the time is also done now. So if there are any questions that I have left out, I can definitely come in personal touch, but thank you for your wonderful time and everything. Definitely, I guess you have got your my links to uh, into chat section. Please copy it and do send us the feedback reports from your side, so it will be easier for our production management team as well. Definitely this is getting recorded, and you will get a link of it maybe by tomorrow. Yes, thank you so much for being a wonderful and patientful audience. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you so much. Bye bye.